Have you seen Star Wars?
It's now been 15 years since we've seen Mace Windu in live-action Star Wars, but there is a new report saying that there is a project in development for the character at Lucasfilm. This report comes from one very reliable scooper named Daniel RPK, who actually doesn't put out a lot of Star Wars scoops, but when he does, they do often come true. And Daniel said on his Patreon that a Mace Windu project is in development over there at Lucasfilm, but the big part of the news is that a younger actor will be playing the Jedi, and Samuel L. Jackson is set to reprise his role as the older version of the character. Now, to be honest, out of all the supposed Star Wars series and shows that are in the works at Lucasfilm, this one does make a lot of sense. Over the past 10 years, there's been a resurgence in love for the Star Wars prequel trilogy, and Lucasfilm would be smart to capitalize on that recent popularity. In the prequel trilogy, Mace Windu was kind of a second-in-command for the Jedi, next to, of course, Jedi Master Yoda, and to be honest, he really didn't get much in terms of character spotlight, but he was involved in one of the best lightsaber duels in Star Wars against Darth Sidious in Revenge of the Sith. Now, if this project does happen, then we can actually use this opportunity to delve deeper into the story of Mace Windu and explore his origin story. Using a young actor for the character reminds me of the Lando series that's supposed to be happening as well, with Donald Glover playing a young Lando and Billy D. Williams playing the older version of the character. One big question fans will ask about the series is, when does it take place? Before The Phantom Menace does make a lot of sense, which is episode 1, but if Samuel L. Jackson is playing the older version of Mace Windu, then when does that part of the story take place? I would imagine it being a big deal if Mace Windu survived the fall after Revenge of the Sith, but then he would eventually have to be killed off again. Plus, Samuel L. Jackson has been saying for years now that he wants to play that part again as Mace Windu, and he's been very vocal about his love and respect for George Lucas giving him the opportunity. And honestly, out of all the actors from the prequel trilogy, he's the only cast member I've seen not really complain about anything that's happened with those films. If anything, he's kind of been a little bit of critical of the people who have been critical of those films when they were being made. It's a little interesting take by him. Jackson also said that he thinks Mace Windu survived the fall because Jedi can fall from great heights. So if he is still alive after episode 3, then we can expect the story for Mace Windu to continue during that oh-so-familiar timeline between episodes 3 and 4. But to be honest with you, I would rather not explore that route and just keep Mace Windu dead after that fight with Palpatine, but it would be really cool exploring the stories of young Mace Windu, but it makes me wonder how they'll use the older version of the character with Samuel L. Jackson. The report doesn't say if this will be another series or a spin-off movie. I think either way this will go directly to Disney+, but I think in this case, I would prefer a nice little 1 to 2 hour standalone movie about an older Mace Windu in the Jedi Temple telling stories to the younglings about his rise in the Jedi Order. Plus, with Marvel's de-aging CGI thing, I think they did for Captain Marvel. I never saw the movie, but I remember seeing the pictures of a young Samuel L. Jackson in that. That's a very likely scenario for this possible project. So this either movie, the show, whatever they're going to do for Mace Windu, they could use the de-aging stuff on Samuel L. Jackson again, because he looked pretty good in the Captain Marvel movie. So if they use that on him in this route, then we could see him in Phantom Menace timeline, Attack of the Clones timeline, telling stories, or maybe even a few years before the Phantom Menace, and then have him as a younger actor, I guess, exploring the young stories of Mace Windu and his origins into the Jedi Order. Big question would be, or a few things, of who is going to play this young Mace Windu, who do you think should play young Mace Windu, and also, do you think this should be a standalone film on Disney+, or do you think it should be a limited series? And I think that's the route they'll go if they don't do the standalone movie. I think they're actually just going to do a limited series, kind of like a one-season thing that they're doing with the Kenobi series. And I also think this does speak to the resurgence in love for the prequel trilogy over the past few years, because we've been seeing Samuel L. Jackson's advocate for this for a very long time now. I mean, I think for the past 5 years he's been saying, hey, I really want to come back and do the role, and now we're finally doing it. I think he not only got to Lucasfilm, and Lucasfilm finally listened to Samuel L. Jackson, but I think Lucasfilm also realized a lot of the fans are wanting more prequel-era content, and this is kind of the route to go if you're going to show more stories during that timeline. This would be a great character to do it with. But tell me your thoughts below. What do you guys think for a Mace Windu project over there at Lucasfilm? Do you want it to be a standalone film, or do you want it to be a limited series, being one season? And also, when do you want this to be taking place in the timeline of Star Wars? Before The Phantom Menace, after The Phantom Menace, before Attack of the Clones? How do you want the older story for Mace Windu to work out? Do you want to see Mace Windu survive after episode 3? Or do you think that's where his story should end and we explore a little bit more before his Jedi days of being a Jedi Master? Tell me your thoughts below. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe because it does help out the channel. I'm Star Wars Only. I will see you all next time, and may the Force be with you always.